How you guys doing today?
Good, bro.
Great, yeah. It's a busy day.
Yeah,
Oh my
busy.
God.
Okay, guys, you're live now, so go ahead and get started.
Hey, everybody. Jerome Maldonado, and welcome to Real Talk on Real Estate. It's Wednesday afternoon, and I got Ramez Debbas with me today. Here's what's special about having Ramez here with me is that having Ramez here with me, he's a business partner of mine. We're doing some incredible stuff down in Washington State. And the way that Ramez and I actually started doing business together was he would send me pictures of stuff he was doing, and he would send me little questions with the pictures, and then he caught my interest on one of them where he said, "I'm selling this property for $2.4 million," and he broke down some numbers. What do you think? I should make about 400,000. I can't remember what the profit was, but anyways, it was up there. And I go, wait up, hold on, back up a little bit. And I said, so tell me about this area you're building in. And so Ramez and I started talking about what he had going on and the comparisons to what he had in his market to our market. And Ramez is a full-time Microsoft employee, and he's made millions of dollars doing new builds, but buying land and building houses in the Washington State area as he is a full-time employee with Microsoft. So he does it part-time. And now we have a big cottage project that's a multi-million-dollar project that we're doing together up in that same area. And we're looking at embarking on a piece of land we'll talk about now today that actually is going to be about a 35 to $40 million project that we're going to be undertaking together in 2022. And so when we start working on entitlements and stuff. But really today, that's just my introduction of who Ramez is and why we actually do business together. This gentleman is a worker, you know. I have a good buddy named Carlos Seguia, and he has a book called Work Like an Immigrant. And it brings like true belief, you know, to like who Ramez is. He's from Jordan. I'll let him tell a story. And his parents brought him over to Canada to go to school as a young man. And he landed up in the United States once he graduated from college, and he's just killed it. This gentleman is a hard worker. His diligence shows in everything that we do. And I'm just excited. And one of the reasons that I have Ramez here today is because he's going to be a part of Real Estate Domination 2021, which is just in a couple weeks. And so we're going to be talking today about some of our projects, and we're going to be talking about NFTs. Ramez and his brother are so intelligent. These guys are on top of technology to a magnitude that most people only could imagine and wish to be, where most people are out trying to even find out what an NFT is. This gentleman and his brother are actually building NFTs, and we're right now in the exploratory phases of how to utilize NFTs in exchange to be able to build out and raise capital for real estate, the tax benefits, so forth and so on. So we'll kind of get into this stuff, and Ramez understands NFTs significantly better than I do. And that's what I've always told people is one of the most important things is to surround yourself with people that have talents and expertise in areas you don't, and then you shine where your expertise are and what your super strengths are, and allow them to kick ass and do what they do well in their areas of expertise. And so with no further ado, Ramez, welcome to Wednesday's Real Talk on Real Estate. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jerome. Thanks for having me here. Definitely. Thanks for all the introduction. You made me look like a star here. Still trying to learn and grow. This is a journey. I would say NFT is a big world. There's a lot of still learning for me even to go into. My brother has been exploring that area for the last year or so, and we'll definitely talk. He partnered with a few folks and even signed deals with like big names like UFC Titans and many others. Definitely I'm looking forward to see the NFT that we're experimenting with, and we're going to launch hopefully potentially at your conference. So I'm looking forward for that. Let's
our conference, all of our conference,
our conference. All right, our conference,
all of our conference. You know, you know, I don't even want to make it sound boring. So look, there's three major things happening in the world right now, and these three things are what the conference is really about. So one, there's a housing shortage. No news to new. It's not new news to anybody. The housing shortage, it's huge. It's not even just a national, but it's a worldwide issue. There's a massive housing shortage. That's one. Number two is there's hyperinflation happening. There's inflation of all materials in every sector that you can imagine everywhere. And it's happening all around us. From construction materials to nominal groceries, nominal products like that, to fossil fuels, petroleum products. It's everywhere. And then the third thing is our political changes. There's some massive political changes, talking about our different tax bills. And so there, with all three of those things happening right now, I think one of the biggest things that people are sitting back going, okay, well, how do I deal with this, and how do I position myself to profit from it? So what we're going to do at Real Estate Domination 2021 is those three items are on the agenda to be talked about as a primary focus with all of our speakers. Every single person that's there is, and we have some of the most incredible lineup of professionals out there. And then we're going to bring to you how NFTs fit into this, because NFTs, look, non-fungible tokens is what NFT stands for. And blockchain, cryptocurrencies and all that stuff, it's starting to migrate as part of where the world is going with electronic currencies. Okay. And so if you're not a part of it, you can resist it, but then you're going to miss out. And so what Ramez and I are sitting back talking to you guys about today is we're sitting back going, look, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know a lot about NFTs myself. I just know enough, and I'm smart enough to sit back and say, I need to know. We need to start exploratory stuff so we can start moving in that direction, because the world is migrating in that direction. It's not just the United States, it's the world. So we take those three issues that are happening right now, and those are the areas of expertise that all of us as professionals that are kicking ass in the industry, all of us are kicking. Ramez, I mean, it's humbling to say, I don't know if you'd say it, but I think we're doing pretty damn good right now with everything that's going on, wouldn't you?
I know, I agree. There's a lot of opportunities out there, and I think there's enough even money for a lot of billionaires to be in this market. So there's opportunities. There's a real estate shortage in housing, and also we will talk a little bit more about low income housing, which there's already a shortage in that as well, and then how things are. And the NFT utility, it's still new, and there are a lot of utilities there, and we're actually trying to focus on how do we bring value to NFTs, especially in terms of the real estate, meaning your token or your NFT that you buy actually is backed by real estate asset. And you're able to now buy, or being able to be part of this journey, seeing how we go building 100 to 200 unit apartment complex, targeting low income housing, and see that journey from the day we buy land all the way to planning, getting permits, entitlements, and work with an architects, engineers to get this approved, and then start construction all the way to property management, and start getting it's a payday where now you start collecting checks. Yes, so going through that journey is going to be a couple of utilities there. All the community going to get a chance to see that, get to see the progress, and then also be part of it, and getting a chance to invest in a project that normally a single person can't do on his own.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing, is you can go out and you can purchase stuff, and you can do this individually, but you got to have a team internally that's helping you. And that's what I've done all the way until 2018, is my team has purchased stuff. But I also understood the limitations of what I could do 100% with my capital and institutional money. And so in 2018, when I started to broaden my ability to grow, we've been able to grow. And this is the first year really that has shown its dominance in regards to what we've been able to put together. And so it takes multiple people. And I look at industry professionals. There's a friend of mine named Bobby Castro and his brother Eric Castro. They live in Miami. These guys just exited their company, sold it for a few $1 billion. And these guys they get out of the financial industry and exit their company with over $1 billion in assets, and the company's worth over $5 billion, and they get involved in multifamily. And so they understand that multifamily is over leveraged. So as much as they're buying, it's really hard to find good assets at the right price, the cash flow. And so they've been buying permit ready stuff like Ramez and I are doing, and building them now. And so I sat down, I talked to Bobby and I said, hey, Bobby, we really need to talk about this affordable housing model that we're doing to help the housing crisis so we could put more rooftops in America and profit from it, right? And rightfully so, like a mentor of mine once taught me, he said, Jerome, find it and look around, and there's a lot of problems in this world, but when you find a massive problem and then you find a solution to it, you can amass a fortune beyond your wildest imagination. And so we're going after affordable housing. There's a specific way that Ramez and I are building these projects out. And I talked to Bobby and I said, Bobby, there's a specific way that we're doing this. Municipalities love it. They're coming back and they're telling us, look, we love what you guys are doing. We have a need for this. And so much so in a lot of municipalities, we're getting tax abatements, and there's a lot of stuff that's going on internally where there's a lot of profitability in it. And we're helping out the American downside to the housing crisis. And so Ramez, share with us a little bit what the NFTs will do for real estate, and a little bit about what, you don't have to go into the full depth of what we're going to go over at Real Estate Domination, but in a nutshell, because Bobby Castro and I talked briefly about NFTs, and I know Dan Fleshman, and there's a lot of industry leaders out there that are now saying, hey, if you're not a part of NFTs, you're going to miss the boat. Like, you need to be a part of what's happening with NFTs. And share with us a little bit of your insight, because I know you have more on-hand knowledge on NFTs than I do.
Yeah. So in NFTs, especially, you write down who is the owner of this token, and it's already automatically attached to your wallet, your address, which you can call it your bank account if you want. In a nutshell, is and you invest in buying a token. Now you are in this pretty much unmanaged, let's call it a platform out there that you can see who owns what, and now not a person but more as an address, and then that already stamps it that you're the owner. And this is where we can start potentially sending distributions when or if there's a sale of a project. Then investors can get potential returns. I think having that, it's a way, it's almost like a contract, and without being there's a middleman. So really all managed in the platform. So we publish a contract. The contract says there's about 10,000 NFT tokens, and these can be purchased at a certain price, which will launch during the event. And anyone is interested can go and buy that and be part of this journey, and then they'll be part of a community. So we're running on Discord. This is where a lot of NFT tokens run. They get a chance to see the journey. All the announcements happens within there, and get to see the progress of the project and eventually the payday. But the way it's done, in a way, it's talking about how you decentralize how things used to be before. Everything was centralized, and running this is in a decentralized way. So there's I'm still learning myself. My brother and his team been working really hard for the last 3 months to get to lunch very soon, and that's so there's a lot. As much as you have to learn, there's also more learnings from me on my side as well.
So Ramez, so centralization, as far as you're talking about in regards to the decentralization of capital with NFTs and the centralization of regular like money, like printed cash dollars. Explain to us, explain to the viewers what the difference is about centralization and decentralization of money and what's happening right now. So they have a more layman term explanation and understanding of what you're talking about.
Yeah. So when you do a transaction, the bank is in the middle. So you can say, for example, Chase Bank goes in the middle. You do a transaction, you buy something, it goes through the Chase Bank. That's the middleman. And then the Chase Bank goes to, then eventually put the funds in your personal account. That is the so now this bank specifically have their own services, or let's call it their database, that they store all this data of, this person owns this much dollar. Now that is running on their own servers. Suddenly, if there's a problem happens out there, that server went down, potentially you might risk losing some data. And if that team or that bank didn't build a resilient way of managing their service, it's fully centralized. So one thing can break it down and then now banks been stable, but again, there's a middleman. Now you try to scale this on a big scope. How do you remove that middleman in the picture? This is where everything now running on the blockchain. Blockchain, you have the miners that actually do the transactions, and they get paid a little bit of fee. So almost like how the bank transaction fee is, there's a fee for the transaction, and the miners do that work in a secure, compliant way where nobody can go and actually change it. So if we talk about how much hacking happens these days in the market, and what you don't get to see, a bank lost $60 million because someone hacked their bank account, but there's a lot of things happen that there's nobody's aware of. But if someone decides to hack the bank, it's centralized. So if they were able to access a database of a bank and change the numbers and remove any audit trails that tells you how much this person owns, really nobody can track it. With the blockchain, there's no way you can just change it. This is stamped on every single server out there that actually does all the mining and or any nodes available. So all this data, if you have to change it, you have to really go modify it on every single instance, and that's not possible. So there's a lot of I'm still learning again. So this is my understanding so far, and how things can become more secure. When you say a contract is literally published, anyone can see that contract. You can go and look. What is this contract doing? How much money is taking? What's the transaction fee? You get to see all the details. It's very transparent, and that's the beauty of it.
And what's great is, like, we have the Federal Reserve, we have our central banking system here in the United States, and they're the ones that are printing money, and then our federal government actually pays them back interest for the money that they print, which is not even constitutional, but it happens, right? It's been happening since 1912. And in 1913 is when federal income taxes were implemented, ironically enough, a year later, to be able to charge us. So the federal government just utilizes our money to pay the Federal Reserve back. And so there's a lot of internal stuff that happens in our central banking system. So the decentralization of what's happening with electronic currencies are big. I know everybody's heard about it. There's some people that dispute and beg to differ. I was one of the skeptical ones because I didn't understand it, right? So when people were talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the different cryptocurrencies, I just didn't understand. It intrigued me. I wanted to learn. I just didn't have time to learn because I was so immersed doing what I do. And I still am immersed doing what I do. So instead of trying to understand everything in the everything that's happening with electronic currencies, I just choose to surround myself around people that I respect and I know that understand it significantly better than me. And then they allow me to play in the real estate game. And now we're trying to learn how to cooperatively merge the two, and it's happening. And so there's a lot more information. The understanding of it is more apparent now. And so now we're starting to get the real estate professionals that are actively investing in the industry going, hey, I think we got something here. Let's utilize this to purchase and build, to purchase properties, to build properties, and help things evolve with the way the world's moving right now. So, Ramez, what do you think? I mean, rightfully so, correctly so. I'm kind of quoting.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of improvements that is going to happen along the way on how we utilize NFT. And the blockchain. I think there's in general a need, an easier way to even invest in projects, and this could be another approach that we are maybe trying to unpeel the onions and trying to see how this is going to work for the real estate within an NFT. So that's the experiment we're going as I mentioned. So we're gonna launch it very soon, and there's also the ability for people to be early adopters before this goes launch and get the chance to invest earlier.
So if you guys have interest, sorry, Ramez, sorry, you go ahead. If you,
Oh,
I was going to say, if they have interest in information on this stuff, they can hit us up, put something in the
absolutely.
chat,
Absolutely.
and hit us up and make sure you DM us on Instagram, or reach out to us on Messenger, or reply to the chat here on YouTube. So look, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys want content, up to date, current information on what's happening in the business world, in the real estate world, give us a thumbs up right now on this type of content. Let us know that you're here, you like the content, and pound that thumbs up button, and then subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. And that way you get alerted when we have special guests or topics that relate to interests you have in what's happening in business and in real estate. That way you're always notified of content just like this. There was something I was thinking of. Your brother is going to be up at the event, Ramey, and
Yeah, the whole team.
teams. You can bring the whole team. So if you guys have questions,
I'm gonna bring the whole. Yeah, gotta bring the whole team.
Awesome. So we're going to have a ton of intelligent people there that are going to be there. They're going to have a booth outside at the event, and they're going to make themselves available to answer questions on NFTs and what's happening. And Ramez's brother is the one that actually is building out NFTs, and he just got a big contract, right, with the UFC.
Yeah,
right?
him and his partner. Yeah, they signed a deal with his partner Tony. They signed a deal with the NFT Titans. So they're gonna work also building an NFT within there. There's a lot of I'm looking forward to see that launch, and when that is available. Definitely it's gonna be very impressive to see where that goes.
Yeah. So if you guys are sitting up here saying, "Oh, Jerome and Ramez, what the hell do they know about NFTs?" Well, let me tell you something. There's billion-dollar companies out there like the UFC, and people that are extremely intelligent like Dana White and their entire team with the UFC that are sitting back, and they understand the magnitude of what's happening. So they, when they take somebody that is sharp enough to be able to intelligently explain to them the value of the NFTs, fly them literally across the entire country from Washington State to New York. It was in New York City.
Miami.
It was in Miami. Oh, catty corner, all the way down to Miami, and have a sit down meeting, get wined and dined, and then a few weeks later have a signed contract set in place to do business of the development of the NFTs for the UFC. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the team that Ramez and I are a part of that's actually going to be building this stuff out on our behalf. So respectfully, we're excited to be able to have and understand a little bit more about the NFT space, how we're going to be able to migrate this into real estate. And it's the way of the future. We're super excited to be able to bring this to you guys at Real Estate Domination 2021 in Las Vegas. And Ramez, we've been so busy. These events, they're a ton of work. And so I tell people, look, if you guys are watching this and you haven't already signed up, you need to. I don't know if we'll have time to do this event again next year. This possibly may be the last event that we have time to do. I think that people sometimes they misunderstand and say, "Oh, these guys make money doing events." I lose money doing events every single year. I lose money doing events. It's my third one. We'll lose money doing this event this year. It's going to be dynamic. We're going to wine you guys, dine you guys. It's going to be an incredible opportunity for learning and networking. But our time that we have available, I'll personally probably have over $100 million of projects on the books for 2022. And that's where we really make our money. Ramez and I will probably pull out of 2022 with at least $30 to $40 million, if not more, on our books alone, between what we're doing in partnership, if not more. And so when you have all that going on, it's really tough to put all these conferences together. So look, if you guys want to know how to take advantage of the marketplace in 2022 and how to set yourself up to take advantage of affordable housing, the shortage of rooftops, buying land, building houses, a lot of what I talk about regularly, what Ramez and I are doing up in Washington State, he's been doing for the last 7 years, about 6-7 years, right? And he was moonlighting in it, making hundreds of thousands of dollars extra a year on top of his already strong and incredible income working for Microsoft. And now we're going to teach you guys how to do that. We're going to teach you guys how to deal with hyperinflation, what's happening right now, how to be on the winning side of inflation instead of the losing side of inflation, which 97% of our population is on the losing side of inflation. 3% of our population's on the winning side. We're going to teach you how to be on the 3% side and how to win from inflation instead of costing yourselves money and affecting your lifestyle based on inflation. And then we're gonna also share with you guys,
development
yeah,
elements.
I'm going to show you guys how to deploy money, what's happening in Congress, what's happening through our political sector, how you can pivot around that stuff and position yourself to be on the winning end of the tax strategy of what's happening with taxes and what's happening politically, so you can win on that sector as well, and then teach you how the world's evolving with NFTs and electrocurrencies, cryptocurrencies and electronic currencies and so forth. So pretty exciting stuff, Ramez. Tell me a little bit about, so your day. So we were talking about our project in Kirtland, Washington. So for those of you guys who want to hear a little bit about this, let's share with them a little bit about not just the NFTs, but what we're doing currently right now in Washington State, and maybe share with them a little bit about that project. And then we can even talk to them a little bit about what we're doing up north and the project that we have going up there. I think they'd love to hear what we're unveiling and some of the stuff that we're working on right now.
Absolutely. So the one we're working on is trying to bring, so when I say affordable, sometimes it might be a little bit tricky, because affordable in this area, which is in Kirkland, Washington, is $1 million house. Because the average homes are between 2 to 2.5 million. Now, bear in mind, it's different from affordable housing in the apartment world, which we'll go a little bit in that. So what we're doing is we're tackling the $1 million houses, which is a lot of the engineers. So there's engineers from Facebook, Google, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, and many more. This is becoming the second tech hub or the second largest tech hub after San Francisco. So average household income is going to be somewhere in the range of 200,000. Now, not everyone can afford a $2 million house. So the goal we were trying to achieve is actually a change in code that allows us to build smaller size homes, somewhere in the range of 1,200, 1,400 square feet. Still 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom, but it's affordable, and you are able to do more of that. So you build a community. That's what we call it, a cottage project. So it's a community of 5, 6, and depends on the project. So we're doing 2 of those, 6 cottages and 4 cottages. Currently, we are in the entitlement phase. Almost completed the site plan. We're waiting for city comments to come back so that we can do iterations and then fix those comments and move and get a permit approved. So that's kind of this project. Great returns, and we already actually went with a few, raised a few funds from investors. And once the permit is ready, I think me and Jerome, we might actually take a little bit more as well, so that we give opportunities for a few others to be part of this as well.
Yeah, so we'll be talking to you guys a little bit more about that as we move forward in it. These builds are incredible. I've always talked to people about buying land, building houses, and I always had a business model where I minimized my profits at $100,000 per build. In recent years, over the last 7 to 10 years, we've been making averaging between 130 and 170 per build. And we go into a more affordable housing model where there's more affluency in a specific sector. And, we can make anywhere between 250 to 280 per build. And so we'll make millions of dollars on this small little project. And one of the things that's really cool is that even though we'll walk away with a few $1 million in profit, typically under traditional circumstances, you get taxed on that at about a 40+% tax bracket, depending on what your state taxes are and where you live in the country. So to prevent that, Ramez and I sat back and I said, we need to start thinking about a year past that, because when we sell these off, we're looking at turning dirt now towards the beginning of 2021, and it'll take us less time to actually build the houses than it did to come out of the dirt, because of all the entitlements, the permits, the engineering, all of the red tape that we have to go through to get these things approved. We better start talking about an apartment complex in affordable housing. That's what we're going to be talking about is, okay, how do we deploy this money and capital into another project? And what project is that we're going to deploy it into, so that we can do tax studies and then and appreciate the assets and be able to write off 100% of our profits, so that we pay 0 taxes on what we make in our subdivision. And then we go in and we're doing multiple things here, right? There's several moving parts. One, we're building affordable housing in the apartment sector. So where most Class A apartments are renting for in excess of $2,000 a month, we're sub 2,000, so we're renting for less than 2,000 a month, closer to $1,500 a month, give or take. So when economic crises happen and hyperinflation happens, we can take people and put them into less demanding rents and position ourselves to profit. So we're in a win-win situation. So people sit back and say, well, aren't you guys ready for a market correction? Well, the market correction can happen, but under our business model, we'll still be sitting at a very comfortable place because we know what the world is in need of. And in spite of market corrections, people still need to live, eat, breathe, and put a roof over their head. And they're going to do it. They're going to do so in a more affordable fashion. So why not position ourselves in that sector? And in doing so, we're solving a problem. We're going to profit from it. And then we're going to be able to deploy capital in there tax-free or tax deferred, I guess I should say.
And this is part of the opportunistic zone. So opportunistic zone where it allows you to save on property tax savings and capital gain savings, exactly. And actually, opportunistic zone is different from Section 8, where you don't have income. This is low income, meaning 30% of your income, which is around the $1,400 to $1,500 a month, and that's still a profitable approach as well. So the average, and it's all based on the average income in the area, and we can definitely go more in depth at the event. So for those who are interested, definitely, I'm looking forward to see you all there and discuss more about that as well.
Yeah. So understand, Ramez has about 5 minutes or so. I want to respect his time because he has to get back to his day as well, and I got a meeting as well. But I wanted to talk to you about this. So understand, we're not talking about just low income housing and like Section 8 housing. We're talking about affordable housing. And so Section 8 housing and low income governmental housing is not in our business model. You can exercise this through the means of Section 8 and affordable in low income housing if you want. Our business model is more based along the affordable housing model for the average American, right? For the average household. So we're doing this stuff up in northern Washington, where people are migrating out of the Seattle area because the cost of living has become so exorbitant, where they want to migrate slightly north. They don't mind a 45-minute commute, just like in the East Coast, people in New York City, where they can live at a more humble cost, and then migrate in a commute over, and then position themselves to be able to take advantage of everything that we're doing with affordable housing. So that's what we're seeing in the market studies. And then you take markets like New Mexico, Arizona, and some of this stuff, where the average household is paying about $350,000 for the median home. We're doing the same type of business model. And it works. And it works in all 50 states. It works everywhere across the United States. There's not one city that's, I shouldn't say there's not one city that's better than the other. It's just different markets, but there's a need for it equally across the entire United States. And so Ramez and I just have a business model that's already proving itself to work. We're excited to bring it to you guys at Real Estate Domination. You guys are going to want to be there. If you haven't already gotten your ticket, you guys need to get there. You need to find a way to drive there, fly there. If you can't afford to be there, you can't afford not to be there. Okay. If you can't afford to get out there, you can't afford not to be there. Meaning that, look, ladies and gentlemen, I tell people about this all the time. For many, many years, I couldn't afford to do any of this stuff, and I found a way to do it anyways. And that's why I'm sitting in the position that I am today, taking advantage of opportunities, because when I could not afford to go across the country and be a part of something that I needed to be a part of, I found a way to afford it, and I got my ass in a chair. And Ramez, you know what this is about. You've seen my events. You've been there. We've been partners long enough now that you know exactly what we're battling. How crazy would it be for people not to be there, even if they couldn't afford to be there? How crazy would it be for them not to find a way to get to Vegas?
I mean, well, first, Vegas already substituting your flight ticket and hotels just to come there. So that's already cheap enough. But the information, the value you're going to get out of this event is much worth more than what you'll actually have to pay.
Yeah. And plus, we're expanding. You may land up being business partners with people like Ramez and I. If you're just starting, you're just looking at this going, oh my God, I just need an opportunity. you need to be there because the network is incredible. You're going to meet people that you wouldn't meet otherwise. And you're going to learn some cool stuff. And then secondly, if you're already a badass and you're already doing kick-ass stuff and you're just sitting back going, how do I grow? And how do I be a part of what these guys are doing? You need to get there. You need to show us that you're a badass by one, getting there, and two, we may land up doing business together over the course of maybe months or years, short period of time. But we need help. There's a lot that needs to be done here. So we're excited to bring it to you. But NFTs, ladies and gentlemen, affordable housing, what we're talking about with inflation, tax benefits, and then NFTs, those four things, okay? Those four things, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to teach you how to position yourself to move forward in this future so that you're not sitting back and waiting for the man to get a paycheck from, and you can continue doing that because, you know, like Ramez respectfully does so, but he's making several hundreds of thousands of dollars a year working for Microsoft, and he wanted to quit. And I told him, Ramez, why? We do this stuff part-time. You can do this stuff from your office desk at times that you have a little bit of availability, still keep your income, and then we can deploy all this money into asset holdings and investments and take care of our futures forever. And so that's what Ramez is doing. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but you know,
that's exactly.
I know. Yeah. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, click and subscribe to our YouTube channel, pound that thumbs up button for more. If you love what we're talking about and for more content just like this, let us know. Ramez Debbas coming in from Washington State, taking a little break from his busy day down at Microsoft to give us the latest, the greatest on NFTs and what's happening with cryptocurrencies, electronic currencies, blockchain, and how we're utilizing this with real estate. Ramez, bro, I love you. God bless you. You have yourself a kick-ass day. We got a lot of work to do. And I can't wait for November 5th, 6th, and 7th. Can't wait to see you in Vegas, my friend.
Same here, Jerome. Looking forward to see you there. And thanks for having me.
Yes. Thanks for being a part of it. You guys go out and make it a great day. And don't forget, always go out and compound your success.